Okay, round two of our Q&A. So our first question today comes from Dino Dogan. I'm assuming it's Dino, it could be Dino, I don't know, I'm not sure, I'm going to say Dino. And his question is kind of long, so bear with me. How do large organizations like Disney and Coke reconcile their brand's image with their reality? As in polished and pretty on the outside, but socially unsustainable and even irresponsible on the inside. Really? Okay, let's talk about that in a second. And I'm asking this from the perspective of leaders. I assume you've had dealings with leaders of many large organizations who want to present one image to the public while not matching that image internally. I imagine having a polished image while being far from polished must take tremendous personal toll on these people. The incongruence of it must wear on them, or are they completely oblivious? Moreover, I'm more interested in your observations of people in these positions, the observations you've made to yourself without sharing them out loud. I'm asking you to share them out loud. Okay, Dino, thanks for putting me on the spot. Well, first of all, let me just say that I've never worked with Disney and Coke specifically, so I can't really speak to Disney or Coke. I don't know if you're referring to Walt Disney's kind of alleged abusive relationship with employees back in the day, or if you're dealing with the Disney culture today as it exists now. So I don't know. Moreover, what I'll tell you is that even if I had worked with Disney and Coke, probably just out of a combination of non-disclosure agreements and just professional courtesy, I probably wouldn't share my personal observations on whatever dysfunctions I found there. I don't think that would be very professional of me, generally speaking. So what I can tell you though is I can answer your question in a more general sense without naming names, without pointing to any companies. And I can tell you that the dysfunction that you're talking about, where you have executives, whether it's the CEO or the CMO or just at every stratum of any organization, saying one thing and doing another is actually quite common. And it's not limited to the global super brands like Disney or Coke, if in fact it's what's going on there. You're always going to have people who play lip service. You're always going to have people who like to spin and just kind of tell you one story and tell you they're doing great while they're doing really badly. Some executives learn very early in their career that as long as you know the right people and you don't get caught, or you have a nice umbrella or a golden parachute of some sort, you can do pretty much anything. Lie, cheat, steal, as long as you get the numbers that you need in order to make your bonus, or maybe get your promotion, or get moved to a different division, or even get hired by a competitor or another company. And you see with a lot of kind of serial CEOs this pattern of behavior where no matter how poorly they're doing as CEO or as any executive, they will continuously jump from one company to the next, and they become serial CEOs. They're there for a year, and whether the company does well or not, they get their bonus on their way out, and then they move on to another company and do the exact same thing, and so on and so forth, until either the game is over, or they finally get too old and they just retire with their hard-earned money. But by the same token, you have probably just as many executives, if not more, in the U.S. and international corporate structure, whether they've reached the CEO level or not, who really strive to do what they say they want to do. And for them, if they're not able to kind of join their ideal version of their company, what they're really trying to accomplish, what they say they want to accomplish, the articulation of their vision, in other words, if they can't join that with the reality of the company and its operations, usually the problem isn't necessarily with them. So, you know, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Sometimes these guys really mean well, and they just can't physically do it because the culture of the company that they've inherited in a way for a few months or a couple of years is so difficult to change that one man at the top, even the CEO himself, is not capable of changing it that quickly. You know, in terms of people being oblivious to it, yeah, no, I've found a lot of executives are so disconnected from the ground, right, from what's really happening in the market at the retail outlets with the customer experience. There's so many layers between the CEO and the customers that they're incapable of seeing what's really going on. And so by the time the information reaches them, it's been so filtered that they don't necessarily have a firm grasp on the reality. They see numbers, they hear the interpretation of perhaps sycophantic executives and they might think everything is going very well when in fact it's not. So with these types of CEOs, usually the disconnect is really, I'm afraid to say it, it's their fault. They're assuming that they're getting good information, they're assuming that they're getting all the valuable information, but they're just not. And with some, they just choose to operate that way, and with others, they just haven't really figured out that they need to kind of bypass their sources of information and physically leave the corporate office and go to the stores and hang out on the websites and listen to the message boards, or read the message boards rather, get on Twitter, get on Facebook, and pay attention to what people are actually saying. Even if they don't actually talk to anybody, even if they're not a blogging or a tweeting CEO, they can still listen to what's going on. It's free, it doesn't cost them anything. And then kind of find out if there's a disconnect between what they're being told and what seem to be the true feelings of their customers and clients. So you know, I don't know. I think you kind of have to take each and every CEO and each and every company culture as a unique thing, and not get caught into the generalizations that are easy to make, that, you know, CEOs are bad, and that because an organization seems to be disconnected from reality, that it's necessarily by design by the CEO. So hopefully that's answered your question. Oh, and then one more thing. It doesn't matter if you're dealing with a global super brand like a Coke or a Disney or a Nike, or if you're dealing with a small mom and pop shop on Main Street. The same type of dysfunction that you'll find in large organizations also exists in small organizations. And those types of dysfunctions are characterized by various degrees of denial, of ego trips, just, you know, greed, you name it. So whenever someone, an individual in any company at any level has, what would you call them, complexes, those complexes affect the quality of the work and the quality of the culture that they create around them. And that's true of any social structure, whether it's a church, a major corporation, a small business, a military unit, a school. It's the same everywhere. So, you know, give people the benefit of the doubt, and if they disappoint you, then move on. All right, thanks.